Wednesday, May 2025. It is I, Mayhem Evilstral. This time, I will be taking the role as the main character, the protagonist in the story. I guess I'll make Mr. Magistral Malik and his friends the deuterogonist. So, either that or the, heroic secondary antagonist. But, speaking of antagonist, I was spending my time doing some evil stuff, and then, eventually Mr. Magistral Malik apprehends me, puts me into the Magistralverse jail, and, he asks me for help after imprisoning me in the Magistralverse jail. Makes no sense to be imprisoning the Mayhem Evilstral, Dr. Despair, the leader of Destroy, Eradicate, Shatter, Perish, and Impair Realities. And as soon as this Mr. Goody Good Goo tries to release me out of the Magistralverse jail cell, I will take over the Magistralverse myself. Well, is what I would say, if there wasn't a huger threat apparently, the huger threat being a new enemy who goes by the Illuminati, or just 333 for short. If I was going to give my personal input on this enemy, based on the way Mr. Magistral Malik is describing this enemy is pretty much no different to Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, but with extra steps. I am not joking when I'm saying there is a huger threat within the Magistralverse, who is literally the form of an Illuminati. In God we trust, Illuminati. I would have rejected Mr. Magistral Malik's offer to work with him and the Miscellaneous. However, I want to be the one who takes over the Magistralverse, not let some triangle head try to take it over. I can't let that happen. So I agreed to briefly work with Mr. Magistral Malik and his heroic team, the Miscellaneous. Oh wow, the villain is working with the hero trope. I imagine all of you viewers pretty much saying so. So I rather just kind of predict you guys saying those things before I hear you guys even say it. So anyways, he releases me out of the Magistralverse jail cell, and him, Pharaoh Olaf, Mistletoe Viscum Album, and Azreal Thy Dreamer humbly invite me into the Miscellaneous. And this is a group that Mr. Magistral Malik decided to name in short notice. But breaking the fourth wall, within the span of the previous 2 episodes, Mr. Magistral Malik decides, I'm gonna make a group called the Miscellaneous. I could have come up with a better group name. I have my own group name called the Despairs. Destroy, eradicate, shatter, perish, and impair realities. What does Miscellaneous stand for? I confront Mr. Magistral Malik, asking what it means. Mr. Magistral Malik begins to speak. It stands for the Magistralverse, Malik says. Before Mr. Magistral Malik could say anything else, 333 strikes up in our presence, interrupting Mr. Magistral Malik with the blink of an eye, causing him to retire, explaining what his acronym means, and focus on battling it out against the Illuminati. So Mr. Magistral Malik begins to instruct me, alongside Pharaoh Olaf, the Mistletoe, and the Dragon, to prepare to fight against this other villain. Malik begins to swing his diamond sword as the Mistletoe begins to shoot arrows out of her bow, followed by Pharaoh Olaf, who begins to ignite stars out of his paws, while Azrael Thy Dreamer begins to breathe out flames out of her mouth. They begin fighting for about minutes, roughly within the span of 5 minutes more specifically. Yeah, like around the time frame that you guys are listening through. By your own will, I begin to use my supernatural powers to fight against 333. The 5 of us could be able to have the upper hand if we work together, whatever that's supposed to mean. Mr. Magistral Malik said it, not me. But anyways, followed by this very fight, we are still fighting 333. I begin to get some vivid flashbacks of me fighting Mr. Magistral Malik, unironically. I recall a time where Mr. Magistral Malik was spending his time hanging out with Pharaoh Olaf, the Mistletoe, and the Dragon, and, Malik was busy drawing and animating furries, and I decided to take over the world. And eventually, Mr. Magistral Malik took notice of me trying to take over the world, and that's when he eventually begun to fight me, and eventually defeat me, leading to me going to the Magistralverse jail cell, leading to the rest of these events playing out within the first episode, the second episode, and then this third episode. So, considering the fact that I'm like basically the biggest enemy within the Magistralverse, I would be a good competition with this other villain that I'm fighting against. Three's powers is rather strong, just as strong as me and Malik's powers of having cosmic powers. Additionally, Three's powers are ran by magical supernatural spells. Three could summon Illuminatis, which would be their pawns. And I mean, like, come on, I have better pawns than Illuminati. Count every single time I say Illuminati, and I bet you'd be rich enough to, I don't know, be able to draw and animate this on a $1 budget. Eventually, I find this book. It's a book which is very magical and supernatural. And no, it's not the Death Note. I kind of wish it was, but it isn't. It's just this book owned by a witch. And I looked through the book, eventually giving it to the dragon. And the dragon reads through the book, reading very quickly because, I don't know, our lives literally depend on it within the Magistralverse. And she looks through a specific page with a spell that she seems to recognize. Almost about to say it, she inhales her fiery breath and says the spell, Azarath, Metrion, Zinthos. Wow, you took a line from Teen Titans. All of a sudden, the Illuminati begins to worry, for a lack of better words, because they begin to become trapped with the spell, which was said by the dragon. But in all fairness, to the spell sounding similar to a line from a different piece of media, the spell's name sounds familiar, to say the least. I point out this familiarity. The dragon begins to reveal her name. Oh wait, it could talk? I didn't know. She said her name was Azreal Thy Dreamer, but her full name is Azarath Metrion Zinthos. Conveniently spelt the same way. So now 333 gets defeated, gets trapped in a dark void, and contained there to go to Magistralverse jail. We begin to put 333 into the Magistralverse jail. Malik ends up offering for me to be pardoned from my many crimes against humanity. So then I just, I just spend my time relaxing, looking at the boring, mundane world, being all, in Malik's terms, goody good goo. There's not enough evilly voodoo, so I'll just think of something to just neutralize and balance the conditions the world is in. As for Malik and his friends within the Miscellaneous, well, they just began working on stuff, preparing for events, and apparently Malik is making some Brazil music. And I took note of this because, like, I don't know, 3 people told me about this within the Despair group of mine. And well, the music's quite fine, but he's just, I don't know, like, learning Portuguese Brazil for the first time. He tends to call Portuguese Brazil just Brazil, which makes no sense. I mean, you could just call it a Brazilian Portuguese language, you know. You don't have to just call it Brazil language. It doesn't make any sense. But then again, this is your typical Mr. Magistral Malik, not a million to infinite IQ Mr. Magistral Malik who is smart and knows everything. In fact, when it comes to, well, me and Mr. Magistral Malik, I think the two of us creates a point to be told about how, well, humans, us, we have flaws, lots of flaws. We are not 100% perfect. I acknowledge this, but still, I surely like the flow of Evily Voodoo, and I'm gonna pursue Evily Voodoo someday, one day, but not today, because I got a pardon off from going to the Magistralverse jail, so guess what? 333 is going to the Magistralverse jail cell, and they're heading to Subwalk 1 with P. Diddy. It's so funny that I'm just literally laughing out of character and my voice is like out of character on some occasions. But then again, I'm just another Malik who decided to become Evily Voodoo. So anyways, yeah, I think this is just about how the story went based upon how I mentioned it in the most subjective way possible to some objectionable way possible at the end. But one thing's for sure is I briefly sided with the good guys and good gals and the good people to save the world so I could have the chance to take over it. And so I will, one day. It will happen. And once it happens, there's nothing any of you could be able to do when I take over the world, and it'll be all evilly, do. My catchphrase, my version of goody good goo, but with evilly voodoo steps, extra steps. Oh, and one little advice for the Illuminati: don't drop this. As for Mr. Magistral Malik, I believe he's just spending some time with, himself drawing and animating furries, or I don't know, he might be spending some time with Pharaoh Olaf, the mistletoe, and the dragon. They're probably just spending time partying and making Brazil music or something along those lines. I guess you could say Mr. Magistral Malik is quite on the grind. And no, not that type of grind if you're thinking all grinder, grew. I mean, Mr. Magistral Malik is gender fluid, panromantic, and demisexual, but I don't think gay is synonymous with neither of the three. Furthermore, Malik just is drawing furries. I have yet to encounter Mr. Magistral Malik within the next few episodes later. Maybe in the middle, maybe at the very end. I really don't know. I'm probably just gonna make this one only appearance in this episode and then all of a sudden appear in a very last episode or something. It's anyone's guess on how my next appearance will be like. But to Mr. Magistral Malik, probably make a better thumbnail or a better background for the video. Don't just, get generic images of, a mistletoe keychain or just, a dollar bill of the Illuminati. Don't just get those things and then act like, oh, it's art or something. Like, literally make art. Like in your own words on what you say to your call-out posters and some followers of yours. Draw better or go home. Illustrate better or go home. I mean, it's not difficult to just, illustrate better. I mean, the drawings you actually make aren't too bad. So you could literally be making artwork for your series. But no, you just get random stock images and then just claim it's art. What is a series supposed to be? A podcast? A novel? Well, regardless, I'm just hijacking this. And, yeah. Evily Voodoo. Evily Voodoo. Well, see you guys within the next span of the next 4 episodes. Maybe I'll appear on the last 7th episode. I don't know yet. 365 days are in a year. And 12 months are in a year. And 3 to 4 weeks are in a month. And 31 to 30 days are in a month. And 7 days are in a week, counting, Saturday and Sunday. And 24 hours are in a day, under a day, more specifically. So only time will tell. Time will tell. Until then, Evily Voodoo. Evily Voodoo. See you soon, Mr. I Like to Goon. Hello, it is me, Mr. Magistral Malik. For some reason, Mayhem Evilstral decided to take over this episode, but I'd like to bring up a sponsor. This video is brought to you in part by your local $1 bill. Your cash, your money. Yeah, just to make this episode for the Illuminati 333 or the Illumination 333. I think I'm gonna stick to the Illumination 333. It just sounds more cooler and better. Hopefully, it's enough characters, to type into the YouTube title. I'm actually gonna see if it even fits. If it even fits, then it's perfect, All right, let's see. ILLUMINATION 333. I'll replace this 2 with a 3. Oh, it fits. It fits. It fits. It fits. Perfect. All right, guys. I'm naming this title the Illumination 333. So yeah. And last but not least, adios, mi amigos and amigas and amigas. Well, some gender neutral suffix I've heard. Instead of an O or an A at the end, it's an E. If I'm not correct, feel free to correct me. Luck is the